You know, when we talk about the dark night of the soul, many people need really to understand what the dark night of the soul is. And it is a type of surrender of the ego. That's really what happened to me. And the ego is alive and well, so to speak, for many people. I mean, sometimes people think, well, I don't have an ego, or I need to get rid of my ego, or what exactly is the ego? It's kind of like that unseen part of all of us that we have. We do have one. But the ego is really, I always look at the ego as an overlord, let's look at it that way, of the inner child. And if a person is an adult and they become very accountable for their own emotions, which are coming from the inner child, which is a lower self, because it's immature. It's spiritually immature. It needs to gather information. It needs to get its belief system straight. It needs to get its opinions in order. So the inner child is living, I think, in a disorder and looking to the outside world, the adults around them, their teachers, are outside of them. But inside the inner child is the ego. And the ego is kind of like telling the child exactly what to do and what to think. But the inner child wants to be creative. It really does. I've often said that. But another thing I want to say is that what we really need to do is address this dark night of the soul. It's kind of like a split between the ego, the inner child, and the adult. The adult runs into something that they can't handle. And instead of dealing with the fear or dealing with the separation, which is what it is, it's a separation. And I'm not just talking about divorce, I'm talking about a separation, okay? Which I found to be an identity separation, okay? You have a relationship with somebody, you become part of their life, they become part of your life, and a separation occurs. And what we're talking about is the inner child is very insecure and doesn't like to be separated from the mother. That's the first separation. And then as the adult grows up, when the adult grows up to adulthood, then the inner child feels that separation again. When the adult grows up beyond the beliefs and opinions of the inner child. So we're always talking about beliefs, opinions, what's going on inside of us, the inner person, not just the adult, what you're seeing on the outside. That's a mask. We know that. We know we all put on a mask, and we take on this identity, of the outside. And the inside has a different identity, and it's called the true self. Now, we may never discover our true self immediately, but we do, eventually. I like that. Not immediately, but eventually. Nice word, isn't it? I like that word. So anyway, what I was talking about is who you are. Very important subject. Here's my finger. Very important subject. I do use my hands a lot, don't I? Okay. So anyway, I'm on Blog Talk, and I've been in airways for 30 years. So these little videos I make, oh my gosh. I mean, I was on television. I was on Good Morning Virginia, and I did a cable show. But you know how old I am now? Well, I'm getting ready to have a birthday, December the 11th. And I'm going to be, 67. Age is a state of mind, isn't it? Or maybe you don't think it is. Maybe you think you're getting older. Well, that's another subject. The subject today is detachment. Detachment is separation. So it sounds like, wow, Brenda, are you talking about, maybe I should detach. Maybe I should become unaware for a period of time. Well, yeah, you do become unaware of the consciousness when you meditate sometimes. And you do become unaware when you are in grief. Let's talk about that. Grief. Grief is separation. All of a sudden, somebody's gone. You can't see them in the physical. You want to know where they are, where they're going. Can you talk to them in spirit? Are they still with you? Well, physically, you really want to draw them in, you know. You want them to be with you. And when they're not with you, you're suffering grief. Separation. Oh, camera cut off. How weird is that? Separation? Did you feel separated just now? When the camera went black? When darkness came in? Is separation darkness? Uh-huh. Sure is. Nothing happens by accident, does it? It all happens because we think it's going to happen. We have expectations of darkness, the unknown, what it could be like, what's going on with your life today. Do you feel a darkness in your soul? Or do you feel light? Light is a nice thing to feel, and it certainly is a great energy. But is it real? Or is the darkness real? Do you think you have a dark soul or a light soul? Or do you have both of those souls in combat, in battle, in a spiritual war inside you? Oh yes, it's a war of separation. And who's going to win? Well, of course, Spirit's going to win. And the light's going to win. Because darkness can't last forever. Thanks for watching this morning. This is Brenda Bradshaw. And catch my show tonight, 7 to 9, on Blog Talk Radio. 347-838-8452. Call in. Get a love card ready. Or you got a comment about this video? Maybe you do. Not sure. Well, maybe you need to be sure. Maybe you just need to be talked to sometime. Well, come and listen to my show. I'll talk to you. So, have no fear, children. There really is no separation. It's an illusion. An illusion. A delusion that we need to conquer. Thanks so much. This is Brenda Bradshaw. Love you all. Low kisses. Now I'm going to cut this off.